Morgan, most of you guys know him. You probably went to school with him. And he's going to reenact Frank Minkler.
Hello everyone, my name is Frank Minkler. I lived around here for around the turn of the century is when I moved here. I was born in Omero, Wisconsin, which is a little bit different than it says in your program because I had a little memory problem there when I was trying to remember where I was born. It's been a while. In 1888, so it has been quite a while, if you think over 100 years. So yes, I was born March 25th, 1888 in Omero, Wisconsin. And I was born to Mary and Louis Minkler. I lived in Omero for quite a while until near my 22nd birthday. So in March of 1910, I married Clara Klumpner, and who is now Clara Minkler. And to us, we only had one son, who is Roger Minkler, who just passed away this last year in 2009. Excuse me. So we remained in Oshkosh, Wisconsin for a while until we moved to Centerville in 1919. Now, about my profession, I was a violin player by trade, and I was a devout musician and loved music, which was evident in many of my jobs. My job when I got to Centerville in 1919 was to conduct the silent movie orchestra at the Majestic Theater. Back in the time of the silent movies, instead of just having everyone sit in a theater with no sound and awkward silence during a movie, we had orchestra play songs that would go along with what's happening in the movie, usually about 7 to 8 songs. Now, the job of the silent movie conductor was a little bit different than any normal conductor because I had to watch the movies to discover what kind of songs I wanted to have played at what parts. Now, usually some of these silent movies sent a list along with them saying suggested songs, but most conductors just threw those out. So we wanted to make our own, so to say. So over the years of my being a silent movie director, I acquired quite a bit of music. Around 2,000 pieces of music I owned, all of which are currently at the museum, if you'd like to go look through them. I have looked through them. It's quite extensive. Anyway, back to that. So during that time, around 1923 to 24 was when talkies came out, or movies that had sound. So the silent movie theater orchestra was disbanded, of course, because we were no longer needed. So I continued to play, though, and to conduct an orchestra. A friend of mine by the name of Harold Hoyer, who is buried right up on top of that hill, had owned a music store on Pill Row called the Hoyer Music Shop. He sold pianos and accordions and all sorts of music stuff. Together we had the Minkler Hoyer Studio Orchestra, which was above one of the shops on the west side of one of the stores on Pill Row. This was a job that we held for quite a while. Orchestra members came and went during that time. And then around the fall, or the summer rather, of 1936, I was offered a job teaching elementary, junior high, and high school orchestra and all stringed lessons at the Centerville School District. So I took this job and began teaching in the fall of 1936. Well, this whole time, I'm also teaching private violin lessons or lessons on any stringed instruments to any member of the community. Oftentimes I would give lessons underneath the stage of the Majestic Theater, back in some rooms back there, or in my home, or in various studios located on the square. During the time I was teaching orchestra at the high school, we were very prosperous. Many people don't even know the high school had an orchestra. Many just recognize the band from the football games or the band concerts, but we did have a very strong orchestra program in that time. During the late 30s to the early 40s, around 41 and 40, we went to the National Orchestra Convention and received 1 and 2 ratings, which are very high ratings. Around 1951, the orchestra disbanded for lack of membership just because of the changing times from orchestra to concert band in the area. So I took on a job as assistant band director to Mark Kelly. Other band directors that I'd worked with at the time were Bob Donaldson and the late William Gower Sr. I'd also done a little bit of work with Jaime Boxman during his time as a student, and you know who Jaime Boxman is. I retired from the school district in 1957. I was actually the same year that E.W. Fannin retired from the school district. I retired quite quietly because it was kind of a big deal that E.W. Fannin retired, and I was a lesser known teacher, so I was just kind of phased out, so to speak. No real publication for me. After that, I continued to teach lessons privately, and in 1963, my wife Claire passed away. And in 1967, I also passed away. And my wife and I are buried down there in the flat stone right next to that lantern. During my time here, I had a chance to work with wonderful musicians, many of which still play and are around the area. I had other hobbies, though, besides music. I was known for my gardening and collected the occasional stamp in my time. I also loved to gaze at the stars at night. I knew almost all of the constellations in the night sky. I lived a life full of music, friendship, and love, and that is all someone can really ask for, so thank you for listening to me talk about myself.